Today on Locked On Sabres, playoff predictions. We're going to go run through our brackets projecting the 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs. Jordan and I will get into our picks when we come back out here on Locked On Sabres.
You're Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Come back, get rolling. You know what I meant there. Hi, welcome into the Locked On Sabres podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline, as you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Joe DiBiase and Jordan Hansgen. I'm at Sneaky Joe Sports on Twitter. Jordan is at JR Hansgen. And Jordan, it is playoff time. How hyped are you for the Stanley Cup playoffs for the 11th time without the Buffalo Sabres in a row?
As hyped as I can be. I enjoyed hockey more this year. And the Sabres were a large part of that. Yeah, I like the playoffs, but it is always kind of bittersweet. But for the first time in a while, I feel like we're closer than usual. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
I think hockey playoffs is the best postseason. I think it's not even close either. Like, I think it is like easily the best postseason tournament that we have going. And I think this one is weird to say because they got some great teams, but I still think it's still the hockey playoffs, and there's going to be a good team will lose early, and it'll be crazy.
There's a lot of series where it's very hard to pick the winner.
Yes.
So we will try. We'll try to pick the winner. We're going to run through our brackets coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. And we'll fire up our player exit interview series with our next show. Will be our first player, Tage Thompson. We'll start breaking down player by player, the seasons that were, the seasons to come, trades, contract, all that good stuff. With some of the Sabre players on the roster. We have lines we'll go through on today's games as well. We're actually recording this right at the beginning of Toronto, Tampa, and Boston, Carolina is also going on as well, but no score in either one, so nothing's happened, I think, to change our picks one way or the other. Fun fact for everybody before we get rolling. This is not really that fun. It's more upsetting than anything, but I love bringing this up every year because it really is the best way to me to put into perspective how long it has been since the Buffalo Sabres made the postseason. There is no way, in my opinion, to make it feel longer than doing it this way. Players that have played in a playoff series more recently than the Buffalo Sabres have. Jordan, are you ready for this list?
Okay.
Number 1, Mike Modano has played in a playoff series more recently than the Buffalo
Red Wings
Sabres have. Red Wings, good. Yeah, that
Senators.
1 year he played at the end. It's been a while for Detroit too. Mark Recchi has played in a playoff series more recently than the Buffalo Sabres.
Okay, that Bruins.
Yep. Nicholas Lidstrom has too. Also the Red Wings for Modano, but how long since he's played? Jason Arnott, Jamie Langenbrunner, Dwayne Rollison, Todd Bertuzzi, Brian Rafalski, Jose Theodore has played in his playoff series more recently than the Sabres. John Madden, the hockey player, not the coach. Roman Hammerlick has played in a playoff series more recently. Saku Koivu, who else I got in here? Chris Draper and Tomas Holmstrom. A lot of these are Red Wings, but like those great Red Wings teams, like right at the end.
Yes.
And Modano in particular.
I think Modano is the one that sticks out the most.
For sure. Modano with the Red Wings, he played that long.
Modano or Langenbrunner. Where the Langenbrunner stuck out to me too because he was on the 99 Stars team as well. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And then one other thing before we get to our picks. Question of the day, our Twitter poll question at Locked On Sabres. Former Sabre most likely to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Jordan, who would you pick? Linus Ullmark, who is starting game 1 for the Boston Bruins, Sam Reinhart of the Florida Panthers, Evander Kane of the Edmonton Oilers, or Taylor Hall of the Boston Bruins. Who is the most likely former Sabre to win the Conn Smythe?
I think Ullmark would be my pick. I think he's most likely to carry the team. I think Reinhart, the problem with him is that there's just so many good players on that team.
Yes.
And odds are if he performs well, there are other guys that are going to be performing well. Whereas I think if Boston were to win the cup, Linus Ullmark is probably a huge reason why. So I would go with him. Vander Kane's more of like a role guy for Edmonton. He's been good. He's been good for them. I've seen a lot of him. Because there's like a part of me that likes the Oilers.
Yeah. He has
so like
22 goals in 41 games. But to your point, kind of, even if he's scoring like that, if he scored 20 goals in the playoffs, McDavid would still win it because McDavid is going to have an assist on every single one of those.
I mean, there was that moment though. I remember when Montreal was playing well, that like Mike Camilleri was scoring at like this crazy clip, and they were going to like give him the Conn Smythe. Do you remember that? Do you remember that playoffs?
I do.
It was like Mike Camilleri was scoring like every shift.
Oh my God, Mike Camilleri.
But yeah, like I think Ullmark. I'm just thinking of like Conn Smythe is all about like who carries the load, and Ullmark I think fits the bill the most of any of those players. Taylor Hall's another one where it's like they'll give it to Bergeron or Marchand before that.
That's right. I could have gone with O'Reilly again, by the way. He would have been a 2-time winner.
He's possible. I mean, when you think about St. Louis, like what would carry St. Louis? It would probably be an amazing O'Reilly performance.
Mm-hmm. And then I left out some other former Sabres, like your Evan Rodriguez's of the world. Someone tried to be funny and say Nikita Zadorov, who's on Calgary, would win the Conn Smythe. I don't see Nikita pulling the award home. We'll run through our brackets when we come back. Playoff prediction time. I love it. We'll go Eastern Conference first, Western Conference second. That's coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. When you want to check out all the odds, which we'll run through in our predictions, be sure to do it over at betonline.net. They're your number one source for all the NHL playoffs, all your betting information, also the NBA playoffs, the Major League Baseball season as well. I got the Kings to win the Stanley Cup. I've had over at BetOnline since January, and they've got some good info now on why that's probably a dumb bet and why you shouldn't really double down on that going into the postseason. So head over to betonline.net, their new website, or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Joe DiBiase, Jordan Hansgen here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. All right, let's go through our playoff predictions, and we'll start in the Eastern Conference, and we'll start in the Sabres neck of the woods. We'll start on the Atlantic Division side of things. Now, the Capitals are going to play crossover. They, as the second wildcard team, crossover playing Florida as the 1 seed, and then you've got Toronto and Tampa. Because Toronto and Tampa is going on right now, we'll actually we'll start with them to make sure it's still 0-0, that we get nothing no tiebreakers either way by something that currently happens. So how many games and who are you picking, Jordan, as your winner between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round?
I have the Leafs in 7. So the way I see it is I just think Tampa's not going to three-peat. And it's kind of like something's got to give in both of these scenarios. The Leafs are not going to lose in the first round every season for the rest of time.
Oh, yes, they
are. It's
not
going to happen. It just can't happen. So I mean, I hope that would be funny. I'm not a Leaf hater the way everybody else is. But I just think that they're better. Like, I think they're better than Lightning this year. It's close, but I do think that Austin Matthews is amazing. Like he's deserved every accolade that he's been given this year. He's been unbelievable. And I think in the end, the Leaf star power will win out in this game. I don't think Tampa's the same team. I don't think they're as deep.
True.
And I think that they'll be exposed a little bit. Not saying the Leafs are going to win the cup, but they're going to win the series in 7.
In 7. All right, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Leafs in 7. I think this Toronto team, how fast it is. I think Jack Campbell has really stabilized the net. I would still trust Andrei Vasilevsky in a 7-game series more than I would Campbell, but Campbell's been really darn good, especially the last month of the season. So given that they have the goaltending, which is one thing that they have not had in past playoff seasons, I'm going to pick the Leafs too in 7 games, super tight series. The odds are representative of that. It's the only series that is a straight pick 'em. -110 for the Leafs, -110 for the Lightning. Now
I think that bodes well for the Lightning. I don't know why. Like I think that
they're even.
I don't know. I don't know though. I those odds are confusing to me because the Leafs are the home team. So odds are that the public's more on the Lightning, which I guess would think Leafs.
That's right. That's right though. The public's been on the Lightning because the Leafs actually opened as a small favorite at -130, and that got bet back to -110 as a pick'em.
It's a true toss up though. It's going to come down to a goal. Like
A
it's going to come
stupid
down
goal
to
off
a
someone's
moment.
shin.
Yeah.
And I just really hope that goes against Toronto. It's not even necessarily for me like being a Leaf hater. It's just, it's one, funny, and two, I truly am curious to see how a team will react to not a 4th, not a 5th, but a 6th straight opening round playoff loss. Like, I'm just curious to see, okay, what do they do after 6 straight playoff losses? What do they do after 7? What do they do after 8? Is it the coach this time? Is it Willie Nylander? Is it Morgan Riley? I just want to see the mess. I want to see the train wreck, kind of.
There's part of me though that like there's part of me like I'm starting to hate Tampa. Like I kind of hate. They're getting like Yankee syndrome for me.
You just hate winners.
I don't like the Lightning. I don't care for them. I don't know
why.
There's nothing that they do that bothers me, but I don't like them.
Well, remember Kucherov tried to kill Vladimir Sobotka that one time.
Who could forget?
All right, let's go to the other side of the Atlantic bracket, and that is the number 1 seed Panthers against the second wildcard team, the Washington Capitals. I feel pretty confident we're going to agree on this one, but I will let you go first. Who are you picking?
I got Panthers and Panthers and 5. This is the series though that I'm just thinking like, oh, this would be the one that like everybody in hockey's like, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I really don't think Washington's very good. I think that they're just better than the Red Wings and like the Sabres. So it's like they make the playoffs anyway, but like they're not great. Like they're probably the one team that I would say like, oh, the Sabres could be better than them next year. Why not?
7-game series. I think the Sabres would be closer to the Capitals than the Capitals would be to the Panthers. How about that?
Crazy? I think the Panthers are the best team in hockey. And there might be people that like the Avalanche, but I think the Panthers are the best team. Every time I watch the Panthers, I'm like, holy crap, they're really, really, really
just
good.
A juggernaut.
Yeah, like that. They are. I think they're like way better than the Leafs and the Lightning. I think they're like when push comes to shove, they're just awesome.
They can't stop scoring. They'll score 6 goals. Like, and it's like,
and it looks
nothing.
easy
it's
too.
Nothing, right? It's nothing for them.
Yeah. So I think they're phenomenal. I'll give the Capitals a game because I like Ovechkin.
I love the reasoning. That's kind of me too, though. Like I'm picking the Panthers in 5, the exact same thing, and it's same thing. Like Ovi will get one. Ovi will have.
It'll be disrespectful to Ovechkin. Yeah, it's disrespectful to say they'll get swept.
The Panthers.
I do have a sweep.
A sweep
in here.
Okay,
I have a sweep in my list, but not many.
Okay. The Panthers, by the way, are the second biggest favorite. -360 over at BetOnline. The Capitals +290. Okay, so we've got Panthers and Leafs. We agree so far. Let's go over to the Metropolitan Division, and let's start with the team with the crossover that's playing right now in Game 1. The Carolina Hurricanes hosting, currently in Game 1 at least, the Boston Bruins, the number 1 Metro team against the number 1 wild card. Where are you at? Carolina and Boston. And before I turn it over to you, Jordan, let me just read the spread. Carolina, I mean, a favorite, but as slight a favorite as you'll get. -120 for Carolina, +100 for Boston. Where you at?
This is another one where I think the public's on the Bruins, but I think the public's right to be on the Bruins. I don't think Carolina interests me because I think they're very good. But I really don't think there's like anything to them that makes them like this force. I think Boston's very fortunate to be where they are. And I think that they are on the right side of the bracket to make a run. I have the Bruins in 7. I have the Bruins in 7. I think it's going to be a great series. Sneaky good series. I feel like these teams have played each other before in the playoffs.
Didn't they play in the conference finals a couple years ago?
I want to say that's right. Yeah. That was when that might have been a while ago, right? When the Bruins made the final.
Oh man, what year was that?
I remember that. But
2019, the last time that we had a full season.
I guess I'm kind of basing this off of what I've seen them play against the Sabres. And I think the Bruins handle the Sabres a lot better than the Hurricanes do. And I don't know why that is. Now, obviously that's a flawed logic because there's matchups in the game and stuff like that. I just think Boston in the playoffs is a different thing. It's a different force to deal with.
Sure.
And so I'm going to go with the Bruins.
I'm also going to go with the Bruins. We are lockstep here so far. I'm going Bruins in 7. I think the Hurricanes, kind of like you said, I really like their build. I love their roster. Do they have any superstars? I know this is not basketball, and you can win championships in hockey without having superstars, but it helps. And Sebastian Aho is really good. And, Freddie Anderson's been really good. Even Antti Raanta, who has to start game 1, has been really good. Vinny Trocheck is really good. Do they have Jacob Slavin? Really good. Do they have any elite? Do they have any elite anywhere? And no, Boston is not what they used to be, but Boston's got arguably the best line in hockey with Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak still. And honestly, give it up for Linus Ullmark. Linus Ullmark has been awesome the last 3 weeks of the season. He's riding hot. So I'm going Bruins. I do think it'll be a tight series, though. I agree. I'll go Boston in 7. That's just something about the Bruins in the playoffs, right? They're just going to bully you around a little bit. They've got that rep. All right. So those are our Eastern Conference predictions for the first round. Let's take a timeout.
Well, we didn't do Pittsburgh.
We thank you for catching me there. We did not. Part of me wants to kind of gloss over that series, I guess, in general, because I hate the Rangers. So
you hate the Rangers more than the Penguins?
I hate the Rangers this year. In general, I hate the Penguins more.
Why?
Well, I don't think they're good. I think they're fraudulent. You know who they are?
Because they wanted Eichel?
They're my hockey Titans this year. I railed against the Tennessee Titans all NFL season because I thought they were complete fraud.
You just want to do this one quick?
No, we could go through this.
Do the break first?
I'm just no. We'll wait on the break. We'll wait on the break after Rangers and Penguins. But I guess my reasoning for not liking the Rangers is I want to be right, and I've been railing against them all year, and I've been saying they're not actually that good. So I guess that kind of tips my pick, but I'll still let Jordan go first here. The Penguins, the Rangers are actually a slight favorite. Same thing actually as the Hurricanes, -120, and the Penguins are +100. So who are you picking? Pittsburgh and New York.
I think we're in lockstep again. This is similar to my Boston theory. It's just like Penguins in the playoffs are just different. They're usually different. I know they've had moments. I think they lost. What was it when they lost to Montreal, or they lost? They just they stumble at times. But there's part of me that just kind of imagines when doesn't this feel right for like a Crosby one last ride?
Mm-hmm.
kind of run. And I think the Rangers I think have gotten the better of the Penguins in the regular season, but I think playoff time, the Penguins are a different animal. I just think they're a different breed when they go into the playoffs. So I'm going to take them. I don't really have much on that. I think this is another toss-up series, and it's going to be one that's going to be fun because there's probably a lot of hatred and animosity between these two.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be good. I do think the Penguins, with their experience, I think they're better this year. I expect the Rangers to be a lot better next year and make a better run next year.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are a one-man band. I think they are a one-man band. I think it is Igor Shesterkin dragging that roster through the season. He has been the best goalie in hockey by far, honestly, this season. At moneypuck.com, goals saved above expected. which is an advanced stat that just was rating goaltenders and like kind of taking into account like the shot attempts and like where they're coming from. And Shesterkin is number one, and it's not close. Like, he is just so far and away above any other goaltender this season. And I think the Rangers also, one thing that I'll get to with another Western Conference team as a reason I don't like them. The Rangers their offense is built through their power play. 5-on-5, they're one of the 5 worst teams in the NHL at scoring goals, at generating scoring chances, at generating shot attempts. They're bottom 5 in all of those metrics. Those aren't even really metrics. Those are just numbers. It's not even like an advanced stat, just scoring chances, bottom 5. And their scoring comes from the power play. They're a top 5 team in the NHL in the power play. What goes away when you get to the playoffs? Penalties. Penalties go away. Now it becomes more about your 5-on-5 game. I'm going to pick, though, the Penguins in 6. I think the Penguins are a better team, but I'm going to give Shesterkin credit. I think he'll steal 2 games because I think he is that good. He's going to win the Vezina. I think he's the best goalie in hockey right now. So I can't pick a sweep, even though I think the Rangers roster is significantly worse because I think Shesterkin is that good. So I will go Penguins in 6. This, by the way, is the only series I've actually bet on. But I have bet on this series. I got a good size bet on Pittsburgh to win it. Did you pick a number of games, or did I miss it?
7.
7.
I'm picking with my heart. I just want more game 7s.
I do like
we've been cheated out of game 7s.
I do like your narrative though of like one last ride, because Malkin and Letang are free agents at the end of the year, and who knows what's going to happen with them. This could be the last dance, right, for Pittsburgh.
I think part of me though is just like mesmerized by the uniform. I just assume that they're going to be good. Like always, I just assume they're a force every time. The Lightning are getting to that point too, where like they're not the same team, but I fear the logo. Like I'm just like, okay, they're probably amazing.
Ooh, is this the best uniform matchup of the playoffs? Rangers Penguins.
Oh yeah. Let me make a quick look here.
Toronto, Tampa, yes. Too much blue. Carolina's a disaster.
The Kings stink. The Kings jerseys stink.
Kings are boring. Yeah.
Leafs and Lightning can't tell who's who.
Right. Minnesota, St. Louis. They're stuck in the
Carolina, 2000s. Boston, sneaky good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Carolina uniforms.
I don't think they know what they're doing. I hate nicknames on jerseys. A jersey that says Canes, I have a problem.
Calgary, Dallas. I'm all about Calgary, Dallas.
No, Dallas is
big contrast.
They should be arrested for plagiarism.
No,
they stole the Blackhawk uniform.
Well, they didn't steal the.
They literally just took the Blackhawks jerseys and made them green, and they said, "This is ours now."
Sans the racist logo, but either way,
yeah, that's true. they have a weird star with a D sticking out of it. I don't like that either.
Right, it's not a good logo. I like the contrast in colors at least. And Calgary,
what happened? Why don't they just wear the jerseys that they wore when they won the cup?
Oh, those are gross.
Those are great.
They're dark green and black.
They literally are shaped like stars.
Someone needs to wear the North Stars uniforms. Someone, the Wild, the Stars. Someone do it. I think you're looking at each other like, no, you do it. No, you do it. Somebody do it. They're great.
The Wild should, because being called the Wild is dumb.
I've actually read that Minnesota fans hate their team name. They still hate it. They always
have. They do, because they had a great one, and now they don't have it anymore.
The stupidest thing on earth.
Another reason to hate Dallas.
Yes, I guess. All right, let's come back and we'll do the Western Conference when we come back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Before we get into that, we want to remind you we're brought to you by Athletic Greens. What is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. Special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system. Just take a scoop, you dump it in your water, shake it up, tastes really good, and it's got all those vitamins and minerals that you need. It's good for keto diet, paleo diet, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It works for everybody, and it costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Head over to athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Joe DiBiase, Jordan Hansgen, back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are recording in the middle of the playoffs. Someone has just scored, but I'm not going to say who. We'll start with our Western Conference predictions here as we look at our bracket. We will kick things off on the Pacific side of things with the winners of the Pacific, the Calgary Flames against the number one wildcard team, the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars, by the way, the only team with a negative goal differential to reach the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I am going to pick in favor of Calgary here. No surprise there. And Jordan, I would imagine you're going to pick the Flames as well.
I will. I'll take the Flames in 6. I think Calgary though is one of those teams that they usually make things harder for themselves. So I think Dallas will be feistier than anticipated. And I think Calgary will win out in the end because talent will win the day here.
So the Flames, by the way, minus 350 to win this series. Dallas plus 280. This is my only sweep. I have Calgary boat racing the Dallas Stars. I think the Stars are not good. They also, unlike the Rangers for me, they don't have the goaltender that I think can steal a couple of games. I think Jake Ottinger is a really good young goaltender. He's only 23 years old, and he was great for them down the stretch. But I'm not giving him that much credit yet. So I'm going to go Flames in 4. I think they are dominant. I think a couple of guys that aren't really household names are going to create kind of a star profile for themselves, like Andrew Mangiapane, who ended up with 35 goals on the season. I don't really think he's a household name yet. Dylan Dubé maybe could start to do that. 18 goals for him this season. A lot of good young players that not everyone has heard of yet that I think are going to break out for the Flames on a playoff run here. Johnny Gaudreau also. 200-point guys. Johnny Gaudreau, 115. Matthew Tkachuk, 104. 340 goal scorers. Elias Lindholm had 42. Tkachuk had 42. Gaudreau had 40. I mean, when's the last time the Sabres had 340 goal scorers? Maybe they've never had 340 goal scorers. They had to have at some point. So yeah, Calgary. All right. How about on the other side of the Pacific Division? This one's tough. I think this one's tough. Maybe not for everybody, though. Let's see. Jordan, Edmonton and LA. Edmonton being the home team as the number 2 seed in the Pacific. The Kings as the number 3 seed in the Pacific. What are the odds in this series? Edmonton minus 250. LA plus 210.
What?
Yeah, that's surprising.
Edmonton should not be favored by that much over anybody.
I think I'm betting the Kings. I'm betting the Kings. Plus 210.
Yeah, so I got Edmonton to win the series in 7. This is kind of me picking with my heart because I want Battle for Alberta really, really bad.
Yes, I do too. That would be so good.
And I just think the Kings are another one where they're like, I think there's a lot to like about the Kings. And I think that they've done a really good job, kind of rebuilding quick. I think their organization is a strong organization, but they're kind of like the Rangers to me, where I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule. And I think that Edmonton's probably gonna take this moment and ride with it at least to a series victory.
All right. I think that's fair. I like LA in this series. I'm going to pick them to win it in 7. So that's our first difference in the bracket so far. I really like them at plus 210 as a bet because I think the series is going to I think it's going to come down to a game 7. I think
I love the bet. I'll take Edmonton, but I love the bet.
Yeah, me too. The Kings, my only holdup with them is like they have a lot of those traits that I look for in an underdog team, like the expected goals for numbers, the Corsi for percentages, the PDO with the shot percentage combined with the shooting percent or the save percentage, which a lot of times can be a luck stat, kind of show how lucky a certain team is. And the Kings are 3rd from the bottom in that. And sometimes that could be, they're just not getting the saves and the pucks aren't going in the back of the net. The thing here is, though, I'm not so sure they're getting unlucky. I think they're better than 3rd from the bottom at that. But are they top 5? Are they top 10? I don't think so. I think I question 2 things. One, are they going to get the goaltending? Because Jonathan Quick is so streaky, even year to year now, right? Like this year, he looked like he's back to form after 3 years of being shot. And we've seen him go on playoff stretches where he just takes over a series. And Cal Peterson, maybe he'll get into some games. I think he actually is the better of the two goaltenders. So we'll see what they end up doing in
If
that.
he win Conn Smythe, he's a Sabre.
Does he count for that? He never technically signed.
I don't
with
think
them.
he should. He's never
He should
played
be
a
in the running
game.
though. Missing Drew Doughty, I think, is going to hurt them. Doughty due to injury. And then my other concern with the Kings is who does score the goals. 7th in expected goals for percentage. They always have the puck, but they don't score. Why? It's not really that just they're unlucky. They don't have good goal scorers. I think, honestly, it could just be simply put. Adrian Kempe is the only guy that you trust. And he scored, I think, 30 goals this year. And, like, that's it. Like, the remains of Dustin Brown are just straggling along the ice out there. Kopitar
they got a lot
really
of
good.
decent players. I want to give a shout out to the local kid, Iafallo, and stuff like
Alex
that. They got good players, but they're just, they're not like pure goal scorers.
Yes.
Like Kopitar is still their best point guy, and he's like, he's a defensive guy. If you want to call him anything, he's a two-way guy.
So as you can hear, though, I'm kind of going back and forth even as I'm making this pick, but I am on the Kings. The thing that put me over the top, the power play percentage. I made this point with the Rangers. I'm going to do it with the Oilers. The Oilers are the 3rd best power play team in the NHL this season. When McDavid and Draisaitl are able to play on the ice together at 5-on-4, they are lethal. The penalties go away when it comes postseason time, and I think Edmonton will really miss not having that power play unit, being able to go out there as much as they do in the regular season. So I'm going to pick the Kings in 7 as my pick. All right, let's go to the Central Division. Should we just skip past Colorado, Nashville?
Colorado in 4.
Colorado in 4. I gave Colorado in 5 because I'm giving UC Saros kind of the Igor Shesterkin respect of I think he'll steal the game. But the problem is he's hurt. He's going to miss games 1 and 2. So I need him to actually play. But I think Saros, once he gets in, will steal 1 game. So I'm going to go Colorado.
I hate those Predators uniforms. I want them out of my life.
Yeah, they're not good. Is it the helmets that even made them worse?
Too yellow. It's too yellow.
A lot of yellow.
Like it's like scalding. You're like, what's that fish in SpongeBob where he screams my eyes? Like that's exactly what I feel every time I see the Predators play.
All right.
The Avalanche though, sneaky great uniform.
Yes, I like them switching to blue helmets. Getting rid of all that black, so good.
Yeah. But it is a strange color combination. It is stunningly strange.
And then finally, we've got the Wild and the Blues. Marcus
I sneaky
Foligno.
love this series. I think this series is going to be a lot of fun.
Don't you feel like this series happens every year, though?
Yeah.
The Wild and the Blues.
Minnesota's always like, oh, yeah, they're in the playoffs.
I feel like this used to be the series for the right to get destroyed by Chicago in the next round. But now Chicago.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be. Real quick, the odds.
That's exactly what they were, yeah.
Oh, before you jump in, I forgot to read the odds for the Nashville series, Colorado. I've never seen a team favored as much as Colorado is in this series in hockey. Minus 650. In hockey, that is stupid. How much they're favored by. But anyways, we're on to Wild.
The only way Nashville wins is if UC Saros plays unbelievable.
And he's not even playing games 1 and 2. So
yeah, so they're pretty much toast.
Minnesota,
St. Louis.
Yeah, Minnesota's favored minus 135, St. Louis plus 115. So St. Louis is a slight underdog.
I think Minnesota's actually a very good team. Like I think Minnesota's good. So I'll pick them in 7. I think this is kind of my hat tip to Ryan O'Reilly. That I don't think the Blues go quietly. Who would have thought that me giving a hat tip to Ryan O'Reilly? But Ryan O'Reilly's a great player, and so I want to give him a little bit of credit here. But I do think Minnesota's the better team, so I was going to take the Wild.
All right, I am also going to pick the Wild. I'm going to pick the Wild in 6. The Wild in 6. Okay. Kirill Kaprizov is a superstar. The Blues actually, interestingly, have kind of made this shift from. I'm not saying these guys aren't good players anymore, but every year, who are their leading scorers? O'Reilly, David Perron.
Oh man, him.
Yeah, your old veteran guys but
they got like Kyrou and
Braden Shen. No, right. Now it's the young guys. So Tarasenko is their leading scorer, and he's I guess a part of the old guard. If you want to consider
Kraken. They could have just had him for free.
I know. Okay, but then
What are
look
they
after
doing?
Tarasenko. The leading scorers of the Blues, like it's the youth takeover. Robert Thomas, 77 points. Pavel Buchnevich, 76 points. Jordan Kyrou, 75 points. Even Barbashev, 60 points. So 22, 26, 23, 26. Like it's those younger guys that have started to take hold of the team, where O'Reilly is down at 58, Perron 57, Saad 49. Again, those guys are still producing, but Kyrou, Thomas, Barbashev, and Buchnevich have really taken that team by storm. So I like what the Blues have going on. I think that they look a little bit more sustainable than I once thought because of the youth, but I think the Wild are a fun team. I think the Wild are faster, and I think they're going to win the series in 6. All right. That's it. That's our show.
We're not doing the rest of it.
No, we'll do that. We have time. We have time. We have to spread it out a little bit. We're at 35 minutes.
It's true. Yeah,
spread it
I
out.
know. We're zooming.
Yes.
Yeah, I love hockey playoffs. I'm gonna go watch some. So it's exciting.
Right.
I guess I missed a 5-minute major already, which is great.
We did miss a 5-minute major. Maybe we'll talk about that on the next show because people are talking about it now. But we haven't seen it up close yet. So we're gonna watch the playoffs. Thanks everybody for listening here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. You want more playoff talk? Go make your second listen. Locked On NHL, from first round matchups to each Stanley Cup moment. Locked On NHL covers the playoffs like no other. Hear the latest news and opinions from local experts every Monday through Friday. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're still trying to get to 1,000. Talk to you tomorrow here on Locked On Sabres.